You guys are here, you know exactly what this is all about. ACGL brings us term number 2 of the ASL. And I'm sure that you've seen it. If you have got and followed any one of the ACGL socials, you will have seen the biggest post of the year right now. AGC officially announced 150,000 Rand up for grabs across multiple titles for the pro scene. And the school kids will be right there alongside it, 10 to 13 July. It all comes together in Cape Town at the Grand West Entertainment venue. For the Fortnite that we have here today, 4 lobbies, 2 from the Open Division, 2 from the Premier Division. I'm going to be here for the whole day, Altruism, alongside me for the Open Division at least, Nayori Mizuki. How are you doing, friend?
I'm so excited to be back. I had to miss like an entire week of ACGL casting. Sorry, my brain is still waking up. I had a very long travel day yesterday, but you know what? I was contacted and they were like, "Don't you want to rest? You know, you've traveled." Hell no, I don't want to rest. Even if I can barely English, I want to be here. I want to see what these kids have been up to in the last couple of weeks and see what these scores are going to look like by the end of the day.
Of course, you got to take that advantage, right? We're just going to rely on you for the oohs and the ahs and the wild noises in the background, even if that's all that you can bring to the table. Right? Because that's what we've come to love about the school scene. There is such an incredibly high skill ceiling. Yeah, the kids have been putting in so much effort. They innovate week by week, it seems, not just by every one of the seasons that come up. Reminder to all of you guys, we are in this middle of the Star Wars mini season, so expect all the overheating guns, the Wookiee bow blasters, the implosion grenades, the Force and lightsabers all over the place. But let's waste no more time, Naori. We're going into the first lobby here today. And as we always tend to start with a little bit of a smaller lobby there, but I mean, people have by now certainly got themselves their favorite landing spots.
Oh, absolutely. I think that that's something that you come into a tournament already having sorted for yourself. You know exactly where you're going to be going. And I would wager that a lot of our teams have a good understanding of where a lot of other teams are going to be landing as well. You can actually see based on the minimap, a lot of them have kind of spread out a little bit, but as always, there's going to be an absolute cluster heading towards the first order base. I say a cluster. It's only 2 teams this time around. I think the smart decision was made by the rest of the lobby to ignore that as far as possible and to fight at a different stage rather than, potentially lose your life right off drop.
Yeah, I mean, there's a wonderful loot here, both in terms of the materials you can farm up and, of course, Captain Phasma and the rest of the squad up here that you can get that nice early lightsaber. So it's worth it if you're confident. But we do see, of course, teams, at least one team tends to lose out. And a good early drop and some nice loot off the bat can really help you out. As we see CBK, one of our youngest teams, that a team that we see often coming through here and immediately lose one of their trio there to Kaizen on the other side. Now it's going to be a 2v2. The other player from that Kaizen squad only just making an entrance at this stage. So there is a little bit of time now, and they will know where their teammate went down. So going to be able to go through their spot out the builds that have come up. Both of them have approached us together. They take an interesting angle around the outside. Unfortunately, Stormtrooper's there, going to prove to be a little bit of a menace. And Darth Vader himself from Kaizen squad going to be there to be able to finish that off. So a late drop, but a great way to end off.
Yeah, and the fact that they dropped in as a 2-person squad and were still able to get all that done, very, very impressive. And of course, they're going to be able to get Kaizen back up and in the fray. They have full control of the first order base now. The other team's very far away. I think the only concern here is potentially on rotation. So for now, they've got all the time in the world to get as much loot as their hearts could possibly desire. And that does seem to be the case for most of our teams kind of across the board here. There's very little confrontation. I say that. It seems, well, this is a fight with the main man himself to try and garner some of that sweet, sweet loot. Thankfully, there isn't another team trying to contest in on this. And again, it's going to be another case of, well, yoink, our loot now.
Darth Vader goes down quite succinctly right now, ready to bestow his powers on the rest of the crew. He's one of the most predictable people here in the Summarized Solitude, and it's this CBK squad. And these primary school kids with such clear intention coming out there, and Engi going to be able to pick up the Force throw the ability to yoink or yeet, the opposite of yoink, right?
Yes,
yeet
correct.
the lightsaber and then yoink it back afterwards.
Good lord.
We're in the schools league. We're gonna be throwing in the lingo so they understand us. Yeah, come on now.
Ah, yes.
Adapt
Hello,
to the
fellow young
times.
people. That's where that is.
Although I think
I mean-
actually considering these are CBK guys, they're in primary school, they would probably cringe at us saying stuff like yoink and yeet.
Who's
even now.
us? I mean, to be fair, I did say yoink.
You said yoink first.
I did. You know what? You didn't have to remind me. I did, in fact, say that. But that's, you know what? That's how I speak, okay? I'm down with the lingo. Lol.
Word. Lit fam. Games.
I think we're going to have quite a bit of downtime here, particularly because we've got a slightly smaller lobby this time around. And what that means is that there's a lot of space for our players to do a ton of farming. Resource farming, weaponry farming, util farming. Like, they've got all the time in the world here. I'm curious to see that if I'm not mistaken, we didn't actually see anyone go for the train. I thought maybe, that'd be a fairly hot drop point, but seems like neither of the teams, let me rather say, opted for that one. It is making its merry way over towards Crime City, so perhaps our team here will kind of head it off at the pass and just maximize their loot even more.
This is the first time I'm seeing rain in Fortnite. It's beautiful. I love it.
But you're right. I think what happens with the train is it is somewhat difficult to contest sometimes. So you don't want to have that as your first landing spot. You want to make sure that you've got some sort of util behind you. You've got a couple of mats. You've got decent weapons to be able to challenge those turrets on top of it. So you might see Wraith and the rest of the squad going across. They are a squad that we've come to know quite a lot. What's interesting to me about the smaller lobbies, in the bigger lobbies, you have these teams that they just dominate the map. They run from one spot to another, and they're able to stack up their inventory so well because they're able to just grab a bit from each of the teams that they eliminate along the way. Here, with so few teams up for grabs and this very delayed start, I think we're going to end up with a late game where maybe one or two teams is going to be super lucky with their inventory. Everyone else with rather mediocre loot.
That's a bit surprising as well. But again, considering the fact that there is so much space to work with here, there's still a lot of time to rectify that. And I think that's kind of the big thing that you need to be focusing in on, is that there are opportunities. And it all comes down to how much drama, how much are you going to struggle in the rotations? Are you going to get caught out unawares? Are you going to find yourselves in a tough position? Or will you have a much easier, more free rotation? I also will just say, the expression, dress for the job you want? Well, Baked has certainly done that with the Exit tab. Very cool. Sorry, not tab, tag. Clearly a favorite org there, looking to reach for the stars at some point in his career. I think it would be really cool if we could get one of our local players on an org like Exit. It'd be quite sick to see. So,
I mean, that's the beauty now of AGC, though, right? Is that this is where the youngsters are getting to make their names known. They get to go and impress. Because remember, the youngsters are playing in the same, they got their own tournament beforehand, but then they also get to sign up free entry into the AGC Pro Open Division. So they will be playing, a couple of these guys, at least with the confidence, will go and play against their heroes, against signed, organized players. And so, can you imagine being the one to step up and be like, right, someone, take a look at me. I'm here. I've made a name. Who's got the best contract for me? That's literally a possibility for these youngsters. And we see a little bit of an engagement here just southwest of Magic Mosses. And No Love Sway, the team that, again, consistently makes podium spots. A little build off, and the force push actually sends them reeling.
I love seeing the force push. I think that it creates so much havoc and chaos that our teams have to deal with. It's a bit unfortunate, though, getting caught in a rotation. And this is what I was talking about. It's the rotational game that could potentially become the problem. But look at this potential third party coming in as well. So there's a lot of... I've used the word potential so much, it's now lost its meaning. But there is a lot of it here in this kind of kerfuffle that seems to be just on the horizon. And they were trying to time that just right, but they have actually been spotted out here. Now, Kaizen and Kyle, who kicked things off with the first eliminations, remember, they took control of the first order base here. So they should have, and they do, in fact, have a lot that they could work with. But the right call being made here. Why take this fight? Why put ourselves in an unnecessary situation? We want to go for placement. We want to make sure that we can survive towards the end of the day. And it looks like they are just going to opt to rotate away. And in fact, no, the mind games, because the one solo player has been left completely on their own here. But now another team has come in, slowly sneaking their way, looking to go for a third party. A teammate has been resurrected, so this is a slightly more robust squad. And these teams are just, I mean, they really are just playing games with one another.
This is amazing. I think that one solo player left alive would have been breathing a sigh of relief that everyone suddenly vacated. And now, unfortunately, breath caught in their throats as they're pressured once more. This is a free kill. Remember, placement and kills are all going to matter towards that final point standing. And, oh, there comes the pull. Brings down every one of the structures in front there and opens up such a nice path, but still struggling to actually grab hold of this super elusive player. They've got enough players around here, though, that I'm sure they're going to track and slowly harass down. There goes another force pull. Doesn't get through as many of the builds, but still, the magic fancy footwork is there, and he's managed to avoid it. But now another pull to try and just excavate out this person, and they're still managing to keep alive for now, but it was really just a delay of the inevitable. No life Suave going to be the last one left of that team to go down. And we're down to 7 teams for now, and other teams are still lingering so close around us.
Yeah, always looking for those opportunities to snake in and get those closing kills to see if you can just maybe do a little bit of cleanup there. Couple of long-range shots being taken. 2 nice connections as well, but no cleanup, unfortunately. A lot of information garnered, though. We've got quite a few teams here, all, again, as you mentioned, right, circling around one another, looking for an opportunity. Looks like Kaizen and Kyle, one of the two might be in a little bit of danger here. Very close to another team, but has somehow managed to go unnoticed.
For now, right? It's always, you just hide in a little corner, and then you take a step just at the wrong time, and you give away your sound cue on the map. But it does seem to have just, like you say, it's all based on movement, right? You just don't move, you wait it out, and this is Fortnite. People go rushing past you at any stage, and especially with that storm starting to close in. Brutal boxcars needs to be evacuated quickly. We see Baked and the rest of the squad. They take towards the high ground. This is a team that so often gets high ground position, especially with the introduction of the DMRs in this system. And now can start really hammering in damage to anyone, but they don't have very many targets to aim at, unfortunately, for themselves.
And that, again, is the problem with having so few squads remaining so late, or so early rather, in this lobby, because, well, there's no one. It's a barren wasteland of people, and I suppose it always has its pros and cons. It does mean that now they're going to have to do quite a bit of fishing if they want to find those enemy teams. Either that, or you just kind of chill and wait for the final zone. But that, I mean, that leaves a lot to chance. You could very easily get completely shut down before you really have an opportunity to take advantage. So rather, in my opinion, in a lobby like this, look for those fights. Look for those early Ws. Just shut people down as quickly as possible, because it's lobbies like these where you can farm up a lot of the placement points. Obviously not as much KP as you might be able to in a bigger lobby, but you can certainly secure yourselves better positioning.
Yep, free placement points, but certainly the kill points going to be a bit of a deficit for these teams. And so we've got a 2-stack here. I think it is a 2-stack embroiled here with a 3-stack. Well, this might actually be 2 trios here, and PRG on the scoreboard as well, picking up some kills, but so much to stay. And this is the big thing about having all the time in the world to loot. You don't have to waste any of these big pots in the early engagements. Now you've got them for this fight, and it comes down to a build-off. Oh, big shots being taken there by Wraith, sitting on high ground, trying to get any sort of positional advantage against his opposition, and still the shots trail and dog him as his steps go down along the waterfall path. His teammate going to try and now come in to back him up there. Just gets blocked off by the wall, but they've got a pincer maneuver going there. Unfortunately, PRG, they're too strong. Joyboy picks up the first kill, picks up the second, confirms that to top himself up with that Cypher now, and can keep going. They've lost one on the ground, but they are going to be very happy. And Dejor, the final casualty, falls down to full damage themselves. And PRG, they managed to get themselves 6 kills out of a very small lobby.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the schools that we always highlight. And, you know, maybe some of our other schools find it frustrating. But if you're going to be the best, your name is going to be on everyone's lips. So it should be incentive to consistently be upping your game and making sure that you can go toe-to-toe with the teams like this. I do just see there, Kaizen has lost Kyle. So Kaizen is now all on his ace. I think there's still potential to get him back in, though.
Yep.
Like, surely if they can find that reboot card, they can maybe get him back in the lobby. But obviously, that's a big signal beacon when there's only, like, what, 4 teams left? It's going to give away a lot of information. And our other remaining teams are all full squads. So this is actually a really precarious situation for him to be in.
Yeah, thankfully for him, there is still, again, lots of space. We're in one of the middle zones-ish. So, you know, there's not necessarily anyone right next to him that he needs to worry about. And if he can go for that, these other guys are a little bit more preoccupied, it seems, as PRG looks to continue. This is what I was talking about. A team that is feeling confident will continue to run the map, hunting down kills. And that seems to be what the tempo that PRG is going for right now. A couple of nice grenades to go through there, and those implosions, you can see the impact. Pulls everything towards it, devastating against any sort of structure in front of them. They've got some nice off angles to poke and prod out their opponents, and also lots to top themselves back up. So their opponents, they're just heading backwards across Foxy Floodgate. Don't have a lot of space to work with, as I saw the blue team on the other side flash on the minimap for a second. So there's really just all the time in the world here for PRG to push in.
Seems they may have spotted someone out, but want to make sure you get those resources. Have that for a little bit later on. Oh, half of this team is already rotated out. If they get caught on a rotation here, that could be absolutely devastating. Trying to snipe him out of the sky. Some fancy floating work. I don't know if you can call it footwork, but managing to dodge a lot of those bullets, and PRG not able to make those shots connect in a meaningful way. But they've now smelt blood in the water, and it looks like they're going to try and push in on this.
Yeah, they're going to hunt this team, knowing that they got some good damage in the beginning there. And this is the beauty about these blasters. Without having to worry about your ammo, you can just continually spray down any angles that you find. So any hesitation by the opposition, we saw them for a second, they light up in the crosshairs. The shot did not come out, and maybe not wanting to give away that they're pushing in so aggressively as they head towards the train tracks. And they are slowly closing this distance. Actually, not even that slowly. They're going full steam ahead. And with those splashes, they got the extra infinite sprint. A couple of these guys also have got them. And you can see, looking to do it again. Just really wanting to balance the edge of the zone. Group up together, throw those on the ground, and get going to try and cut off your opposition on the entry.
And as much as we've lost a couple of teams here, we're still very early on. So the Storm isn't actually doing that much damage. So they can actually afford to have spent a little bit of time here. They were looking to potentially catch a rotation, but unfortunately was not allowed to happen. But there is a chance here. Look at how dangerously close they are, right on the edge of those train tracks. And there's a really solid opportunity. There might be a little bit of a favor here for this competing team because they haven't been in the Storm quite as long. So maybe they'll have a slight HP advantage that they can use to their benefit. No shots fired just yet, however. And perhaps they're opting to just avoid this confrontation entirely as PRG will make their way past. Oh, no, they know. They know exactly where this team is. All of that building, it's given the game away, and now they're going to have to engage on one another.
On the high ground, they actually spotted out the blue team that's engaged with Kaizen, the last remaining member there, and instead they completely skipped. Now the builds up close and personal have shown that this was our original target, so they don't have a lot of time to go for the heals, but they've closed the distance. It was not expected. You can see their opposition just no eye on the skies as they come around. Still shots fade away, missing at that stage. An exit barked, or baked at least. Going to be taken down immediately. Ames, and I think it's Wraith that's also part of this. Oh, Mr. Cooks immediately corrected there, confirmed out. And we talked about that HP disadvantage. It doesn't matter when you're able to confirm those kills so quickly because you do get the siphon top up as of the latest patch. But now there's a crossfire coming from the high ground. These guys were spotted out and they've got such a nice position, throwing rocks from a distance down there to challenge out the builds. And with these long-range weapons, they're in a prime position to try and claim up an extra kill there.
High ground is the winning factor in so many of our games. But of course, as these pods are being built, it does kind of signal, hello, this is where we are, more or less. So they'll be following their progress, slowly trying to chip through the buildings that are popping up in their faces. And the problem is now they've kind of caught themselves in a really tight spot. They can't really leave from here unless, of course, they continue to build. And that's going to burn through a lot of their resources. So it's a big decision that needs to be made as the storm continues to roll in. They're just on the edge of this, so they've timed it. They've placed it very well. But I'll be honest, I think that this lobby won't sustain much longer with only 4 teams left. And now with, you know, 2 of them having kind of spotted each other out and looking for that opening. And correct me if I'm wrong, does that mean that Kaizen survived? I didn't spot him in the kill feed, so I could be wrong on that one.
I don't think so, because we got 4 teams and 12 players, so every one of our remaining squads has to be a trio. So Kaizen has been taken out. He was one of them. And this is such a nice position, but Blaze Palace and the rest of the squad, they can't afford to hold this forever. The zone's on the other end, and eventually there's a little bit of a breakaway just as they stop aiming down sights. And emergency evacuation means that PRG side going to have space to get some distance, but unfortunately not unchecked. Not when Blaze Palace is able to get such nice beams. Turns around, flashes for a second with that scope, but it just costs Joy Boy with their life, and great use of the angled walls here to avoid any sort of fall damage. They've lost Zany though, does pull in one of the PRG players into the house with Blaze Palace, and it confirms them straight away. Fall damage goes down. Great trade outs come out, and it picks up the second. Blaze Palace with the aggression that pays off.
Oh, sometimes hitting that W key really is a huge momentum build. Looks like Zaynab's gonna, ends up going down, unfortunately. Not able to help him out there and bring him back into a livable scenario. I think a lot of that came down to the storm and the positioning on that. But we're down to only 3 squads left. 8 players left alive. And of course now, everyone's positions are known. Everybody has been kind of telegraphed a little bit here. YSK definitely seems to have a good advantage in terms of they've been able to set up shop. They're in a really good position in terms of the zone as well. And they're going to be able to try to, shut down our zone pushers, our circle sweepers. They have managed to find themselves a little bit of cover here. That's going to force the W key because now the next zone has been highlighted. And instantly, they want to get into a good position again. They knew how strong the position they had was, so get a similar vantage point going as you move into the next.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what a late rotation cost both of those teams that held it out at the top, and instead now you got CBK on the low ground. They're closer to the storm, so they at least want to make sure they don't take any casualties, return some fire with the introduction of the jetpacks. They've also got the ability to get back up onto high ground when they need to. We return here to Blaze Palace, who were the ones who had to make the desperate dash in. They took so much damage in the engagement versus PRG, and now that rotation cutting across the open fields has cost them every one of their shields, and it doesn't look like they have anything to top that back up. So a dire situation here coming into our final trios, and they're going to have to hope for a cover and a little bit of anonymity as they approach this. Maybe let the other 2 teams get embroiled here between CBK and YSK. Really good placement coming out from CBK in this lobby so far. They rarely make it this far. They do consistently well, but normally I'm at a 5th or 6th place team, so very happy with it right now. And Krut, he's basically the last one. In fact, he is going to be the last one left alive. Charges in aggressively. 1 shot is all it takes from Big Mac to claim that, and we're down to our final 2.
Oh, so close to the wire here. And in fact, they've managed to draw out this lobby a lot further than I had originally anticipated. I thought perhaps we would have had an ending to this far earlier, but we've seen a lot of kind of patient plays here, waiting out the time, making sure that, again, playing for that positioning. It is the smart call to make. As the storm continues to close in on them, the next zone now available, and they have to be so careful, and you almost have to think, well, perhaps this is the moment to just get it done. They have to be on the move, getting caught out in those rotations. And this is so spicy because it's not like there's a lot of different teams that are fighting each other and you can kind of sneak around them. it's just the two teams here. You make one move, you step one toe out of line. Ooh, you could find yourself in a very dangerous position here. Thankfully, a little bit of slow fall will keep Engie topped up and ready to fight. No shots connecting just yet. They've got some good differences in elevation here, so that could potentially provide them with an opportunity.
There we go. The Engie pulling out that Darth Vader lightsaber that we saw earlier, using it to destroy the builds, being able to cut through there, and he takes out the builds underneath his opposition. Unfortunately, his teammates followed the same path and came down with him, so now they've given that high ground advantage, but he continues on that assault, throws it through another build, decides to close the distance, sack and slash, but sidesteps out at the end, and Trip's eventually going to go down, so CBK up by 1. His shot goes awry on the second attempt there. Uzumaki, he gets it now on clips. They've got a 3v1 situation. This could be CBK's first confirmed victory royale that we've seen here. And of course, they're going to do it in style. Jumps up onto the high ground. And Uzumaki, he claims the final kill. CBK take game number 1.
And it's really cool to see CBK getting some really solid results here. They're a team that we've also kind of been looking at and watching for some time. And, there've been times where it's felt like they've maybe struggled a little bit, especially in some of the bigger lobbies. So really cool to see them, because we know that the skill is there, right? It hasn't been a case of like, we just don't think that they're up to snuff. They actually do have some really good moments. We've seen solid rotations out of them, some really good shots connecting, but sometimes they just kind of struggle in those team fights. So a really solid victory for them, and they're going to be feeling good with that first place. A few kills under their belt as well. Not too shabby for a Wednesday afternoon.
Not too shabby for any team here on a Wednesday. And the fact that these guys are please excuse my cat. The fact that these guys are from a primary school blows me away time and time again. These are youngsters just starting out on their career. And if we can get to see primary school guys at that ACG LAN at the end of this year, or AGC LAN, my apologies, at the middle of July there, holy cow, does that say good things about what esports in South Africa is going to look like in a couple of years.
And it's really scary for our high school players, right? Because these kids are coming for you. You guys are now the old age home of Fortnite, it seems. The new young blood are coming for those titles. And that just bodes terribly for the Obalis. It's a team that plays in the open circuit. One of my favorite teams, because as a fellow old person, I must support my people. So, you can't even imagine how players like them must be feeling when you see that there are kids 12, 13 years old, absolutely dominating in these servers already. Very, very exciting stuff. And as you said, bodes well for the future of esports in South Africa.
I've been called Unk and washed for many years already. I cannot wait to see a 16 or 17-year-old be called Unk at LAN. That would be fantastic to see. Guys, we are going to have a nice leaderboard with all those scores and the positions that these guys managed to get just after a very short break. So while we set up that second lobby, don't go anywhere. We'll be back just after this.
Africa, get ready for the biggest esports showdown of 2025. Taking place between the 10th to the 13th of July in Cape Town, Grand West Entertainment World. Get ready for 150,000 Rand in prize pool featuring Fortnite, Rocket League, Call of Duty Mobile, EAFC, Valorant, and today we get to announce for the very first time an international opportunity, taking the winner all the way to the United States to compete for a $200,000 prize pool. Brawlhalla players, now's your time to rise as you get ready to be able to compete for the one opportunity to be the representative from South Africa to qualify for BCX. This is where legends rise. Get ready for AGC 2025. Head over to the URL to register now, acgl.gg/AGC. The crown awaits.
Oh, that crown. Oh, it's so exciting. So many dreams are being made a reality here at ACGL. But of course, you know, the AGC, it's there and it's big and it's bright and it's beautiful. But it all starts right here in our schools league, in the open circuit, with our primary school teams that are slowly but surely working their way up to that big and wonderful dream of massive stages and adoring fans. We are back, obviously. Myself and Altruism here with the ASL Fortnite, the open division. You'll have Premier Division a little bit later on. I'm Nari Mizuki, and of course, as I mentioned, joined by Altruism, who has been a mainstay in the Schools League since day one. Alt, what do you think that these opportunities mean for these kids as a teacher and as someone who's been involved from the beginning?
Oh, my bad. There we go.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was a me thing.
that wasn't me thing. That was a me thing. I muted between because my cat was purring enough there. Shout out, Shadow. We were trying to make it work for you. No, you said it yourself there, Naori. The fact that these guys are looking to get onto big stages, looking to make a name for themselves and earn some fans. The reason I'm here week after week is because I'm already such a fan of some of these youngsters. I got to be at AGC last year and it was so good to meet them. And I'm looking forward to meeting these names that we see week after week. Here we have our leaderboard, Brackenfell Knights there from CBK. That's Karo Brackenfell. They have done a phenomenal job getting that first position. Second place, PRG, no surprise, a formidable 10 kills in that small little lobby, nearly half the lobby claimed by them. And then Anka coming in third position, only just behind with 7 kills of their own.
I mean, these are three teams that we talk about quite often. Obviously, PRG and Danga are big ones. GHS as well. This is a team that often gets themselves some really solid results here. So this is actually a pretty strong lobby, all things considered, which makes it that little bit more impressive that it was CBK that took the victory there. But it is, of course, only the first game of the evening for the open division. We've got one more lobby for you guys. We're going to jump straight on into it and see how our teams fare this time around. Obviously, we're going to be keeping an eye on CBK to see if they can replicate the same results that we saw in that first lobby. We're going to be keeping an eye on PRG because second place for them, generally speaking, not good enough. There's going to be a little bit of judgment there in the camp, I think. And we're, of course, going to be looking at GHS, which is one of our quote-unquote underdog teams to an extent, to see, well, you know, fourth and fifth place for them. Gonna have to put in a little bit of work here to see if they can topple our leading teams.
Oh, the south of the map certainly a lot more hotly contested than it was in game number 1. That is a horrific glider, friend. I don't know what that was, but it looks like organs floating above you. Everyone has their creativity that they can bring to this, but Trips, not a fan there. That might be Coral. Let's go with Coral. I'm going with that instead because thank you, Blank, for zooming in on that and making it even better. Nitro, please change the topic. Yeah, so Blank can change and look at something else.
I don't know. You're not enjoying the Nightmare Fuel? I think this is great. It's very... Yes. Anyways, yeah, very contested heading down towards Vader's Samurai Solitude and the canyon crossing. We've got a little bit of presence there, but I think it will kind of split itself a bit as that goes on. Meanwhile, Blaze, we saw him and Squad getting some nice kills in the previous lobby, and they're going to kick things off here onto poor Kaizen. And I believe he had Kyle with him previously. Oh, well, we've already lost 4 players very early on, so... Things have just absolutely gone to heck early on in our map. A lot more early engagement than what we'd seen earlier on. But as we took a quick look at the overview, the map just a moment ago, teams far more spread out. Here's the thing, though. First order base, there's potential for some contestation over there, congestion, or whatever the word is. I teach English, by the way. And... with all of these long-range rifles that we also have available to us, it feels like teams are never as safe as they think they are.
They're really not. You can be in the middle of nowhere. Talking about in the middle of nowhere, Trick's Temptation. I think he picked up all 3 of those kills on his own, completely separated. And that comes down to the power of a weapon we didn't draw attention to in the first match. That Jabba Scatter Blaster. It's a shotgun with 1 bullet before you have to reload, and that reload takes 2.5 seconds nearly. So you have to make that count, and he used it perfectly because it can do 150 damage to someone. So unless you're perfectly topped up with your full shields, that really can be a one-shot kill, and certainly made it work time and time again. We head back to the first order base where CBK has managed to pick up 1 kill to try and take this for themselves, and they seem to have pushed their opponents all the way between a rock and a hard place, skirting them and tracking them over the hills.
Oh, very, very dangerous position here. I think on a map this big, it's such a coin flip because, map this big in a lobby that's a little bit smaller, you can go and fight for the same bits of loot and you might stand a better chance of it because there's so fewer teams to potentially contest with. But at the same time, taking those early fights, I mean, we've seen how devastating it can be. I mean, we saw a 2-man squad beat out a full 3-person in our previous lobby right off the jump here at the first order base. So a bit of a high-risk, high-reward play being made. So it looks like CBK should be able to take control here. Oh, but another team is moving in, moseying on in here, and potentially going to look to try and take them out.
Oh, this is big. They were looking for retribution because this is the trio that was eliminated first in our previous lobby. And they had hunted down their opposition that had done that to them. They had succumbed to their fate. This purple team has come in so quickly and has got such a nice high ground advantage. Flashy is sitting here with that jetpack, looking for a bit of an alternative route, and I like that. Just buy time. Your opponents, they're not going to let you have any sort of time. Jawa Blaster straight away in hand. Unfortunately, clipped 2 steps to the left. Going to go down immediately, and Corp Kayan going to be taken down as well. Flashy now needs to think very carefully about how they want to play the rest of this. Do they just evade this obviously aggressive team and try to go back for those reboot cards? And that seems to be the mentality here. It just cones up in a corner. The cone is such an easy way to give away your position. If they spot you out, this might be a time that you want to get a little bit further away or into a more randomized corner. In fact, though, Trick's going to be the one who's in here with the squad, joining in with the rest of this PRG squad that came second in our previous lobby. And they've claimed what they needed to.
Oh, yeah. Damage done. 6 kills already. Freaking outrageous. And we've already lost 3 squads here. And it looks like they're just gonna mosey on away from any potential danger. Again, very, very early days in terms of the storm. So not a terrible amount of damage that's going to be taken there. Perhaps the rotate away stance is the correct stance. Now looking out over the rest of the map, again, it's all quiet on the western front. So we'll just zone back in on Trixton because, well, he seems to want blood. And that, that's what the people want. Give them what they want.
And I mean, look at that inventory as a result of it now, being able to pick up a legendary and 2 blues. I mean, that Jawa Blaster is already good in the gray variant. You now start stacking it up and can turn his attention, full intentionality towards anyone, regardless of whether they're on a high ground, you're still going to take a couple of pot shots and look to close that distance. Still got some decent mats because of this efficiency. I really like this. Every time he's not actively engaged in a conflict, he's busy stacking that up just a little bit more, giving himself just what you need, because how often in those final couple of zones are you maybe 1 or 2 builds short? Pulls out the Jawa Blaster, looking to wrap around just in case someone suddenly peeks their head over the hill, realizes that the builds are far away, and now can start ramping up towards them. Takes a leap of faith, goes again and spots his opponent charging down the hill away. Throws up so many walls, but not going to create any extra space. And there, eventually, they stall out. The builds come up, pickaxing through there. One blast is all it takes. That's the Jawa Blaster at full efficacy. And Kyle, short-lived for this game.
Yeah, Trixton, a bit of a terrifying thing to deal with there. That hard W key, just knowing that he can take that fight and win it and not feeling any sort of like remorse or hesitation, going straight in for the kill. It was risky, but it paid off. Sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuits, and that's yet another squad taken out, as of course Kyle was the last one standing in his. And it looks like Trixton has spotted out yet another player again. So looking to just get up close and personal. There you go. Shots fired through the foliage. Shot connected. Trying to escape from this onslaught of Trixton, and just will not be allowed. He spotted out yet another one. Knows where those shots came from. Beams him down. And that's another 2 kills. This is an 8-kill lobby so far just for Trixton. And the rest of PRG are like, let him cook. You know, we're just going to hang out, you know, break some trees down, and Trixton can cook us a fine meal of points.
Man, that is just like, get out of his way. This guy is feeling it today, and the confidence in those shots. I mean, from the first bullet on that 3rd kill, it was connecting. It was, what, half a second later? The 3rd body was on the ground. That is an impressive player right there. And PRG is certainly a school that's going to foster that talent going forward. So looking forward to what else we can see. And certainly it gives us someone to watch as we head towards the end game. 9 teams remain, just less than what we started the previous lobby with. So excited to see more people making it into this one. And there's certainly more action that abounds consistently. Wraith has found a target, has got some good early opening shots in there. Now it just spots out that their opponent is actually maybe trying to close the distance on them. So takes the time to heal up and start going with that wonderful egg that they can utilize. Dejor, of course, also going to be part of the squad, picks himself up a pot. Spider Sam doesn't have anything else that he can do, so doesn't want to take too much damage right now unless they can confirm this kill and top up their inventory once more. But got themselves great shots. Oh, 48, another one on top of that, 32. And that's a distance. Even takes the time to emote. This team is coming in confidence.
I mean, that confidence is the name of the game, right? It's so often you'll see teams struggle because they just don't have that confidence. And you see it in a variety of different games, in a variety of different contexts. If you don't believe you can win, well, then you can't. It's as simple as that. And, you know, sometimes people maybe get a little bit overconfident, but you've got to start somewhere. You've got to feel like you can do it. And that's exactly what, you know, some of these players are doing, and it's working out perfectly for them. Is Wraith now trying to sneak up. Oh, the shot through the walls, just between in that slight little gap. And now I believe there's one player left who has managed to thread the needle ever so slightly, trying to stay alive, but not going to be long for this world. Another squad absolutely taken out. We're down to only 8.
This is why I love the school league, and this is why I really do bolster up these school level players. They are pulling off mechanics that are impressive. They've got a blink of an eye of a window to try and get that shot off, and they get it perfectly. 75 damage on a fadeaway shot through between 2 builds before the guy can react and put up a wall of his own is an amazing bit of mechanics, and they're doing it consistently. So love to see it. And the awareness to turn their attention to the sky. Place Palace manages to put in a good 44 damage, and immediately when you get that opening sort of salvo, you charge it down, you take advantage of it, and they waste no time. Doesn't have a lot of short range, just the one shotgun in hand, and it's not the Jawa Blaster, but all they need is an opportunity. Got the lightsaber instead, starts dancing around and gets pushed off the mountain, sent out. Through now also taking some damage. Suddenly there's a turn of the tide, because the team that you've decided to challenge is none other than PRG.
Yo, that force push was nasty. It looked like that was going to end up in a kill, but no, instantly just blasted right off the side of the mountain. And Zanny, correct call made. I'm going to get the hell out of here. But are they going to allow that to happen?
No.
Shots not quite hitting him, but they are chasing him. They're right behind him. He's in so much danger. He's cracked. He's dead. And that is another squad eliminated. And yes, PRG just an absolute force to be reckoned with. I also noticed that CBK lost the player a little bit earlier, but seems like they did get him back into the field here. And the second as well. So it might be a chance for CBK to give themselves that little bit of a stay of execution. Now, however, Mr. Crooks manages to take out, yes, our very own W Key King. Trixton, this time around, unfortunately, could not win that fight. And that's going to leave PRG with only 2 players left alive unless they can recover him. That, you know, that overconfidence I spoke of, well, there you go.
Well, that's the thing is, Trix has been so far removed from the other 2 players. They were engaged in their little fight out previously. Now it's come back to bite them. You can get away with it a couple of times, and Trix has done phenomenally to get away with it 8 times to get those kills. And it certainly is a great way to maximize your efficiency if it works. Now, both you put yourself at the disadvantage going into the fight, and you put your teammates, because they've got to recover your body, with a duo versus a trio that's obviously very competent. And now they've got to rush forward, charges through with that jetpack, but the jetpack's so slow and static in the air. Easy target, takes PRG Joyboy right down onto a very low HP, only 2 little minis to top this back up. No way to get that HP back. So now again, PRG suddenly in dire situation simply because the lack of cohesion is not something you can get away with in a good lobby.
Yeah, you've got to be so on top of what your entire team is doing. And sometimes it does just come down to a point of overconfidence. We've actually seen that in the Prem division as well with the PRG main team, where they'll split up and they'll go into like 3 different directions. And it actually did happen once that they got absolutely obliterated early on because of it. So it seems the PRG B team looking to emulate that ever so slightly. And it did work out for a time. But eventually that's going to catch up, and it's gonna bite you. Looks like they're going to try and get him back into this game, however. So we'll see if they can get Trixton back into it. Just a few squads remaining, and quite far removed from one another. I'm a little bit worried about this yellow team smack dab in the middle of nowhere, because they could get absolutely run over at any point. Just trying to use the little bit of environmental cover that they have available to them. But as these teams start moving in, they could find themselves in a bit of a tight spot.
Yeah, they've got a nice inventory behind them at least, so they will be able to spot anyone making a rotation in. They're confidently in the zone. So they're very happy to just chill out right now, not wasting any materials. Would like to see them, you know, just harvesting a little bit more if they can. You don't have to just wait out and be passive. There's a couple of trees and rocks around that you could be taking a pickaxe to. They seem to be confident and instead turn their attention because they don't have any kills to their names. On the other side, we go back in with Ames and the rest of the squad. Bakes gets taken down early. Spider Sam showing great aggression, and Cook's not in a good spot himself in terms of HP. Just dancing around. He's got 2 players closing that distance. Manages to spot one out, but has to just prioritize his life and try to give some space for Ames to get involved in the conversation. Tries to jump down. That's a great shot, actually. Equalizes it out on one of his oppositions at least. Keeps going, keeps dancing, running out of materials though, and runs out of HP. PRG, they've come to the party. They've got Trix back into the fray, and that trio now going to be looking for retribution against whoever dared stand against them. Third party coming in from the north. They can keep diving through here. In fact, even our yellow squad, the no-life squad, coming in to join into this. They waited for long enough, and now they've got their opportunity.
Oh, but have they, though? I mean, look at this. So many walls coming up, so many opportunities to give them that little bit of cover, and no one quite connecting their shots just yet. This is a full HP squad as well. Nice shot on the fadeaway there. Tons of damage connected, but no real follow-up off the back of that. In quite a little bit of danger here. Has lost a teammate. Woo! Suave is down. Suede is in a bit of trouble. Has been able to knock down one of these players, so that's Joy Boy, but the trade will come through. That's him taken out as well. Turnover Sloth was already out of there long ago. He was like, all right, good luck, guys. I wish you all the best. I'm out of here. and it looks like he will potentially survive, but he is on a pathway, a trajectory right into yet another team. But that team is now opted to start rotating as well. So, I mean, there's a possibility here. But look at PRG. They're on the hunt. They know that there's one sole player left for this squad, and they don't want to let him live.
They've lost a casualty of their own, so certainly trying to make up. I mean, they managed to get 10 kills in the previous game. I think they're up to about 13, 14 in this lobby already. So it's enough to stack up the points and make up for that positional disadvantage. And I mean, positions is also a big part. That's why we saw, a single player, they run away late into this. Oh my goodness. Those are your teammates, right? Yeah, okay. They're just going to hide in. They managed to take over. There we see on the board, Trix is eliminated, turnover slot. There was not enough distance in the world to avoid the PRG squad. Now they can continue to turn their aggression around. I don't know if they are going to be able to get any more reboots into this game, though. So they need to be careful if they want to try and make a podium position to back up that number of kills.
I think for PRG, I mean, even if they don't get a podium finish, right, they've got so many kills now. So it's really kind of PRG versus CBK. And I mentioned that the second position wasn't really going to be good enough in PRG's mind. So they really are looking to rectify that. The CBK have survived for a long time, but you can see they really are putting a big focus here on making sure they can keep a top position. Only one kill to their names so far, but they've managed to get themselves into top 6. It looks like they might just get pushed in on. And I think that this was the very team that was kind of hightailing it away as PRG were chasing down the one lone straggler. So I think when they heard the kerfuffle, when they heard the movement towards them, they made the decision to rotate off so that they don't get caught up in that fight. So this is a team that really is putting a high focus on surviving for as long as humanly possible. But Trixton is now back in the server. We kind of hinted at it, that it could be a possibility. And, well, if anyone hadn't noticed before, now they're very much aware of it, as he has just torn through yet another squad.
That's his 10 kills on his own in this. 11, in fact, rocks up. 19 for the team. I don't think that even first position removes this leaderboard jump from them. This is amazing. They keep going. In fact, surely that purple far down south as part of their team. Did they actually get the reboot? Or if they did, they're a full trio back into this. And this is such a nice use of the aggression. You go in, if you lose a player, that's okay. We pick up 3 kills, we get them back in as fast as possible, and we continue the onslaught, because that's honestly what it feels like right now. And they waste no time. I mean, fall damage is into the thick of things, while his teammate is healing up on a hill 40, 50, 60 meters away, and the shots are already going off.
Oh, and that's what I was saying a little bit earlier with all of these long-range rifles that we have. Even if you are leagues away from an enemy team, that gap can be closed with just a really well-placed bullet. Or fall damage can hit the W key and try and run straight into your face. There you go, shots through the window. And that's going to be one of the CBK guys taken down. That rivalry now becoming a bit of a problem. Trixton relocating, repositioning, trying to see if he can catch anyone out, because a big part of this is that circle sweep and trying to make sure that enemy teams don't push in, don't cause issues for the rest of his team. Now, they have started to push in on him, so this is going to be pretty dangerous with so many players so close to one another, differentiating friend from foe and major, problem versus like, oh, this is a team we can deal with later. You've got to make these decisions on the fly, and Trixton not giving them the time to figure it out. He is so in it.
Death from above epitomized here by Trix. He's just tearing through bullets, and his opponent is trying to find anything to slow down this progress. Eventually pulls out the lightsaber, and with the help of Darth Vader, they turn the tide. It was all well and good while you were the one dictating the pace, and prey, the hunted becomes the hunter. As CDK, they claimed the second one. PRG, now it's all on the back of Joy Boy. And there's 3 members of the CBK squad. They were the ones to punish them in the first lobby. They're looking to do it again and add a couple of nice kills to their tally as well. This is what that early investment in bringing Darth Vader along with you has proven to do. And throws some meds to the people stuck in the zone or just outside the zone. really nice bit of prioritization and loot. They don't need to confirm all the kills straight away. They want to make sure that they can play this all the way to the last second. 4 teams remain, 2 of them being trios, and a single player here for CBK on the other squad. A single player left for PRG.
Oh, very, very spicy. I'd love to know if CBK has a coach, man. I'd love to just like, are they getting experienced input here, or is it just they are unbelievably intelligent even at that age? Like, it's really cool to see the decisions that they're making, how they're playing the game, how they're utilizing every little bit of resource to their advantage. Very, very cool stuff here. But it's not over just yet. Another player now looking to step to them. And, well, it doesn't look like they're going to allow that to happen, even with all of these walls coming up in their faces. Still managing to not only stay alive, but keep that player in their sights. But now it's a little bit of defensive as, oh no, Big Mac and Engie both taken down from afar. It was looking like they had an opportunity here, but now it's all down to one lone player. And Wraith looking to emulate Trixton a little bit here, getting up close and personal, slowly making his way over. Haven't quite spotted him out just yet. It looks like they're going to be back up to a full squad as well, which makes it all the more devastating.
Now, these guys are in such a nice position right now. They lose one, and they're going to drop down. DeJour and Wraith looking to try and cancel that out, and they do take out Evan Cliff, so at least they get a little bit of retribution. Still with the man advantage to the 2 solos that make up the other 2 squads. But it's going to now be a case of, can they time this correctly? Both of those are formidable oppositions in their own right. And if this gets isolated, if this becomes a complete cluster at the end where they have a 3-way fight at the end, but this is a great way to start it off. You just chip down one opposition, eliminate them one at a time as you're looking for that angle around the side, prioritizing their life as well with some nice builds. Threatening any high ground advantage of the opposition, but not confident. Oh, the Storm pushing in behind, takes aims down. They did enough damage in no time to heal up. Now it's the 2v1. This is what Wraith and DeJour would have wanted. Wraith decides to go on the aggression, and he pushes forward, just trying to isolate, get that control of the build. Shot denied out by an immediate wall built up, and on the other side, it looked like that shot hit but Wraith didn't take any damage. He got over the top. This is the first one. White HP is all there is, and the Storm over the top may have just pincered you against it. It has. Wraith did the damage. Uzumaki for CBK. They got first position last time. It was second position this time. But I mean, really, Naori, it has to be highlighted there. Trick Sensation, 12 kills on their own, 20 for the squad.
Oh, absolutely outrageous. And to be fair, in the last lobby, it was full damage with the most eliminations at 8. So this PRG roster absolutely dominating in so many of our lobbies. Denied a victory royale for a second lobby, but with the sheer number of kills that they've managed to amass, I think that it would be a tough ask to think that maybe they haven't actually managed to snag that top position. CBK also denied a second victory royale, and with the way that they were playing, focusing on positioning, focusing on rotation, and surviving as long as possible, hadn't really raked up as many kills as maybe they would have wanted to. So I think we might see them slip a little bit further down the leaderboard here.
Yeah, it's a very much a balancing act that you have to go into. You have to show enough aggression to be able to claim those kills, but if you show too much aggression and die as a full squad, you end up giving away the placement points as well. So you really want to try and push to at least a top 4, and that's what PRG did manage to do. It was that constant cycle of, we're going to take even a spread out engagement in the beginning, get whatever kills we can. If we lose a player, we get them back in. They go for it. And as the zones got smaller and smaller, they grouped up a lot better together. And so when they did lose a kill, they were at least right there to return and get more kills as a result of it. They kind of turned one death into 2 points for themselves. And it's that sort of mentality that really defines a good or a great team. And I'm very excited to see what that leaderboard is going to look like. I think we're going to be able to get that up now just before we go to a break. Because remember, guys, this has just been the first 2 lobbies. This was the open division today. We still have the entire Premier Division. 2 more lobbies with our bumper Wednesday Fortnite action here in the ASL. While we're waiting for that, big shout out, of course, to the sponsors who are making all of this possible. ASL Education has been a big part of that, as well as all the sponsors that are going to be there for that 150,000 Rand available at AGC in July this year. So show some love for all of those guys in Twitch chat. I don't think we are going to get that scoreboard just yet right now. So we're going to have to say goodbye, unfortunately, to Nayori, who's going to be taking a step out. And we're going to be joined instead by your one and only AR. So any last words for the day here, Nayori?
It's great to be back. It's great to see how well the teams are doing and how they haven't missed a beat in the last few weeks, and looking forward to seeing how they're going to continue in the rest of the season, because of course there is still so much more action. And joke's on you, we do have the leaderboard, and of course, as predicted, PRG 146 points. Now, funnily enough, they had 60 odd points at the end of the last lobby, and they shot all the way up to 146 with the kill count that they had. CBK still maintaining a solid second position, but CJMC, they were one of our lower half ranked teams, and they've managed to propel themselves up to third. A great performance from them.
Love to see it. And this is why we call out people like PRG. These are schools that are consistently coming in there. I mean, they got 10 kills in the first lobby, 21 in the second. Just consistent depth to their rosters. I mean, I think they go all the way down to an F or a G team or something. There's like half a dozen players or 2 or 3 dozen Fortnite players just focused on this. We see CBK, that's Cara Brackenfell. They are consistently doing well across multiple titles. SJMC, that's St. Joseph's Marist College. They are, again, always there and thereabouts. Top 5 at least in every one of our lobbies throughout the week, because yes, we do this more than one day a week. We're also going to have some normally on Thursdays. We'll get back to at the end of the stream if we're going to have some tomorrow. But normally they're there, and Danka coming in fourth. Consistently, those 4 schools have got Fortnite in their blood. So we love to see it, and there's a reason why they consistently do well. They are here, they're showing up, and they're learning their lessons week by week. But guys, we are going to go through to that very short intermission right now as we get the whole Premier Division set up, and when we welcome in AR, show all the love in the chat. Thanks very much, Nayori. We'll see you tomorrow or next week. We'll see, but we'll see you again.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Yes, it's back. Fortnite continues now with the Premier Division. If you look to that side, yes, I got it right this time. AR, welcome to the group.
How long have you been practicing that? I need to know. how long were you
First
practicing?
time, I had a 50% chance of getting that right.
You know, fair enough. Say his name, he appears. I am back over here on ASL, baby. And what a little snippet over there. AGC, now fully announced. 150,000 Rand alt. And we're going to be there.
Oh, yes. Oh, you can be sure we're going to be there. We got to be there last year, and the vibe was incredible. This year, even bigger. A ticket overseas for one of the Brawlhalla pro players. We get to see, again, school students fighting it out for their title, and then standing next to the pros. We're going to see autographs and photos. Everything is going to be amazing. And what a venue. The Grand West Entertainment Center there is such an exciting prospect for us. So we hope to see all of you guys down there, whether you are competing or not, from the 10th to the 13th of July. And AR, this is what Naori and I were busy chatting about when we watched that open division. What this means to the youngsters, what this future looks like for them is suddenly incredible.
I mean, yeah, you guys talked about having the tag in the name. This is where it becomes that possibility, like you said. It's such a grand stage, not even just this year, because we're at this bigger venue now. The name is even bigger out there. This is where the orgs go to look for new players. This is where they say, hey, we're looking for a new Fortnite team. Hey, maybe a Rocket League team, Valorant, maybe even Brawlhalla, with BCX as well being an opportunity. This is where it starts. And for many of these players, it's going to be their, second LAN? Some of them even their first LAN if they haven't made it over there last year. So I'm truly, truly excited. But we're in the Premier Division now. Walk us through what you know the differences are going to be between what you just witnessed in the Open and what we hope to see in the Premier.
Well, there's going to be a very similar caliber of play in terms of their individual mechanics, but we got to see people like Trickstein. They were able to kind of like run the lobby themselves when you kind of just a little bit ahead. There is no way you are getting away with being a 1v3 and dominating like that in these lobbies. These guys are practiced. These guys work together and are so cohesive that they approach fights differently. There's a mentality difference in how they try and confirm and play around their opposition or take a fight. So we get to see that. And we'll take a look towards the north there. Wow, we've always seen the first order base so hotly contested. This time, a little bit more vacant, but just to the west of that, north of Magic Mosses, there's so many people. And even Pumped Power are going to play host to a good number of squads.
Ooh, interesting enough, AWAC did go down very early on. Dragon as well? What is happening right now? This is the squad that we see dominate almost every single week. 2 out of the 3 members now down. I believe it's only up to 7. We'll see exactly what happens over there. Maybe, hopefully, can get the reboot cards in time. You don't want to be the first one eliminated. A smaller lobby over here, 14 teams, 39 players, as per usual within the first games of the week. Hopefully, tomorrow we'll have some bigger lobbies as well. But, you know, with this smaller lobbies, it means that you're guaranteeing those placement points as well. And you just need a couple of kills to get on that board. AWAC does get confirmed over there as well. I'm curious to see what has been happening over there.
Oh, man, this I think you asked about what the difference is going to be. I think we're going to see a lot more action, especially our first lobby of the day was rather quiet with very few teams in the lobby. But here, the guys have got that bloodthirst in them. They've got a berserker gene there somewhere. We see the reboot actually going off there. It was unfortunate time to try and get that down because it's going to be immediately confirmed. And just a place by there is taking a nice little trip into the ocean or into the river there, but it's not going to prove any sort of detriment. They confirm our first squad down in Pumped Power, but it's certainly not the first kills of the day.
I kind of want to boot up Fortnite to see if I can do some mobility with that now that I've just seen it throw place around. That's insane. You combo that with a double jump of a lightsaber, maybe it sends you flying. Who knows? Especially in the season where there's no mobility or there's a lack of mobility. You kind of want to be trying to find all the routes around that. And you see it over here in Click Slayer's inventory, that new jetpack that was added this past week, the Mandalorian jetpack. It gives you that verticality, but doesn't give you that rotational speed. It sort of keeps you that sitting duck midair. And you got to know when and how to use it, as we see even with a couple of shots, some of them landing on the opposition down through these builds. Nothing to play off of, though. You can see just gliding through with that jetpack, trying to get an advantageous point and height advantage over there. But not much on the forward momentum over there.
Yep. I do like how he used it there, kept his aim steady with it, and then was able to cross the chasm in front of him. And we saw Clicks also doing a good job of getting to the high ground when you're undercover. That's the secret. As we see, Tricks Temptation once more back in this lobby, picks up the nice kill. This jetpack does allow you to at least save your materials when you're chasing down someone and actually spot someone to the left. Call out from the teammate, says, bro, you're missing something. And immediately into the aggression, takes out the pistol, and throws in the shots from close range, continues with that aggression, not landing any of them though. Tricksy footwork on the other side to keep them alive, but how long can you keep this up? Grenade out there optimistically, buys a little bit of time, but it does still result in the casualties. And this is what the jetpack is so good for. You come in from an unexpected angles over the trees, confirm match Mellow, and immediately just shut him down and claim his inventory for yourself.
I love that Clicks was like, the pistol's not working. Let me just drop it mid-fight. And actually dropped it mid-fight over there. And, you know, it got the job done. That jetpack and the shotgun. Absolutely good over there to go ahead and get that first few eliminations for the squad. But we are going to move over. Tentacion Tricks is not, or out of this game, I should say. Needs to get booted back in. Cappy Booker and Cappy obviously looking to go ahead and do that, but first of all, going to show some aggression to the team on the hill. Spotted out and their backs are open. Good 66 damage over there with the scoped assault rifle. Not enough to get a knock, but it looks like they're still going to go ahead and put pressure. I do believe Cappy's the one rebooting just behind to go ahead and get Tricks back in here. And we'll see what tricks can be played out from the squad, especially now that they sort of have a little bit of an advantage. They can spot them out in the lake. Ooh, but that advantage immediately taken away by incoming fire.
This is the danger that we talk about so often. When you get laser sighted down onto one opposition, you need to cover the alternative angles because someone is going to be looking at you. And I mean, they have managed to get Tricks back in there. So Cappy doing a good job of at least distracting and giving space towards his teammate. They make a quick rotation around there, realizing that the storm's coming in and they got their opponent pinned against the ocean. This is such a nice bit of aggression. They've split the squad between them. And Cappy, the last one to rotate towards him, still has the opportunity, or the threat at least, of being picked out of the sky. But they know where their opposition is. They even stop for a little bit of a juice break and grab some putt course along the way. But Cappy Booker, he was the first one into the fray. He's going to be the first one to close the distance. Edits up there, the window too small. Instead drops down, really nice fadeaway, picks up another 31 around the corner. They lose a teammate onto the ground, but they're going to be able to pick that up soon enough afterwards. And eventually the confirmation comes out there. Hillcrest High's Caden gets claimed.
Forced Caden for a second there to say, I like long walks on the beach and I'm doing it right now. And, you know, managed to go ahead and get a little bit of a trade out there with Tricks. But, I mean, it's still a 2v1 situation is going to end up getting eliminated. But down to 34 players. Circle about to be shrinking in a couple of seconds. And there's still a lot of teams up north in that area. You can see the resistance space still has 2 teams over there. And right here on this little battleground that we just had, you can see building up quickly is, I believe that's Tricks and the squad. And Slade just missing a couple shots over on them. You can see the height advantage that they've immediately gained. It makes it difficult to actually land those shots. But you know, a peaking advantage isn't always there necessarily. You can sometimes get more of an advantage from the low ground. You can see one of the players on Slade's team is doing that, staying on that low ground just in case. Slade actually going to go ahead and back up, spots the zone moving and says, you know, it's kind of a distance away. Let's try to go, but Clicks is getting shot in the back right now.
Oh, this is big. There's a little bit of a distraction keeping that PRG squad up there, and this gives the space for RHB to get some distance. They've got another team just on their right as they rotate in, though. They need to be careful and cognizant of. No, there we go. Spots out the build. Only just gets behind the tree in time. Returns some fire of their own. That's a good 55 damage on the board. And so can trade it out nicely, but without any sort of sustainability, you know, anything to top up these shields, they need to be careful. And maybe that's why they made that early rotation previously. They just need to get themselves into a better position so that they can take these longer engagements.
It's still an early zone too, so there's not too much risk over within this fight. You can see Slade wanting that kill right now, pushing through, but with that shotgun, I mean, from that distance, not going to give them max damage. Still does enough to go ahead and crack this player, and will eventually go ahead and take out Lexus. That is a second kill on the board for them. Let's see exactly how they get out of this situation now, as there is the blasters that are getting beamed down at them. Cappy takes out Tyboss as a little bit of a revenge in that kill feed. Rilo and Juno working together to get an elimination as well. Meanwhile, Evan just doing a little bit of a ring around the rosy around the little boxes, has the double pistols out as well. And the double pistols fire so fast that it does put pressure on builds as well. You can see trying to find an opening, trying to find an angle. That is Evan's wall, so looking to go ahead and get a little bit of an edit play. Tries to beam through with those pistols again, and that player just a little bit of a sitting duck right now in that 1v1.
Oh, takes to the sky. That's one part of the jetpack that we don't often talk about. How long is that differentiated between that and a person who has to build this normally? So gives himself the space to sustain through the zone. And like you say, it's a bit of a waiting game in these engagements, trying to make sure that his teammates can come to his aid, but they are far ahead in the zone, locked up in their own fray, and PRG even starting to come in now. So it's really a do or die time. Evan can sit and wait this out. I think he's just going to back up right now. Decides to head towards his team, maybe just baiting out his opposition. Gets a nice bit of space there. Clicks and Slade, they are working together. But they've realized PRG is in with them. And Slade takes the brunt of the damage as a result of it. Now needs to back up. Slow Mantle over that wall. Put him in a dire situation for a second. And he tries to create some distance. Even Clicks going to realize this is not where we want to be. We're not at our full strength. And we're engaged in too many places at once.
I mean, look how low Slade actually is over there in that health. You can see Evan still putting pressure on this box, just wasting and burning through materials, but no materials himself, and trying to now phase through that wall. Oh, but not managing to do so. 25 from that pistol, and no mids means that you're going to have to try to go ahead and get that Siphon. Eventually does, but Slade gets confirmed at the same time, and oh no, you've made a lot of noise right now, and here's a team looking hungry for blood and taking out 5 HPs even right now. And yeah, that's going to go ahead and be the confirm from Cappy Booker and rest of squad. And they were just waiting for the right moment, the perfect time to snatch all of that hopes and dreams away.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was worth it, because you've now left Clicks as the solo member alive. We did see Slade getting confirmed out there as one. PRG going to be hunting for that third person. But even if they can't get the distance closed on Clicks, that's very deep into the zone with not too many respawn vehicles available after this. That means it's going to be so hard to get back to your trio, and now you're in desperate situation. There's so many teams still alive. This is not where you want to phase out of this competition just yet. So again, we see the aggression shown by so many of these players. We saw Kaizen and Kyle in the previous game, and Kaizen showcased really nice mechanical skills then. They picked up a third for their Premier Division match. They've gotten already a good confirmation there and closed the distance.
That is insane, and they have the right strategies. You can see that they went for the lightsabers, and it's a must-have this season, especially that force pull and the force throw. Those are probably the two most powerful force abilities that you can get right now. Of course, the force throw, you literally just line up rocks, and I got you all, don't worry. You yeet them at your opponents. You yeet it at the boxes and you destroy all the builds in the area. But that force pull is so devastating, because if you're combining it with that jetpack, you can kidnap someone mid-air and they can't build whatsoever. And you combine it with the Jawa Scatter Blaster. There's a throw in action right in front of you. You combine it with the Jawa Scatter Blaster, you're dealing tons of damage mid-air to an opponent that can't protect themselves. But Kyle now getting shot from the mountain from his left as well. Gonna have to build up and take precautions for that. We saw the implosion grenades get thrown out as well from Divine. It's exactly how they play this out. 3 teams in this area. It is gonna make it a little bit tough.
And PRG's close the distance as they so often do. They show no quarter in these fights. I mean, I love to see the implosions grenades coming out. It was slow for these youngsters to pick it up at the beginning of the season, but they are devastating against build, and you combine those with their ability to pressure people with the force effects. And certainly no structure going to last any amount of time. Trix goes up nice and high. Cappy actually flips just short of the mountain, but catches himself on a great quick build and covering all the angles. You see the awareness of these squads now, realizing how detrimental it can be to take opportunities, try and get down the scopes without first doing their homework behind them. It's so important. But it has stalled out a little bit. No one really actually taking a full frontal engagement. It's over the top with the grenades. You can see that it just opens up a hole in front of them. Gonna pull down another wall there and sees the people just skirting around the outside. Needs to play this a little bit patiently because he knows that there are 3 members right in front of him. His teammates also decent distance behind him, not able to get any sort of off angle yet. And returned fire sends him packing back towards the squad.
I like that. It's something that you have to do as a player this season. It's use those utilities, the implosion grenades, the lightsabers. You have to go ahead and use it because there's not much else that you can use. There's not much mobility, and you know there's none of that that healing med mist anymore. You gotta make aggressive plays, especially for getting that siphon off of eliminations. And you know, luckily one bandage is gonna go ahead and heal chicks up just a little bit. 10 teams still within this game, and looks like everyone's attention now is slowly around this area. As you can see, another team just noticing. You can see them turning on the map, hearing the shots, but continuing to just move towards the center of that zone. Juno has that bowcaster in hand. You know that Juno loves to use that gun. We've seen it for a couple of weeks now, and using it once again. And the AoE on builds as well is going to damage multiple walls at the same time. And you can see using that to just try to waste materials or just get a lucky pot shot through any wall over there. Meanwhile, Rilo is just going to hone across and try to find an advantage with the rest of the squad.
Such a nice play. You can see that peak ability. AWAC picks up a kill over long distance. And Rilo, he's the one trying to find some sort of purchase towards the forest here. And they're going to actually chase through there. Juno, Arcade, he goes with the throw, dismantles whatever walls were up there beforehand, and they now separated this team quite well, but they need to worry about the off angle that challenges them as a result. Nice counter edits, just spots out their opponent behind the truck here. Sees him actually running in and can drop down. 1 shot, 2 shots, 1 from each player. Juno does give their life towards us. Kate needs to try and finish this off before Juno gets confirmed, because that siphon could absolutely turn the tide. Maybe even looking for a siphon there. Oh, can't get it. Rilo, the 3rd one into this, does pick up tricks. And it is eventually confirmed out. They're able to get the squad back in, and PRG once again being punished as their 3rd member only just joining the fight now. Rilo would love to have Cade alongside him and turn this into a 2v1. Is going to stick the res out there despite the wall shaking. Even going to go for the 2nd res. Turn this into a 3v1. We'll see if the 3rd player from PRG, no, he just evacuates the area. No time to get anyone back. And this is huge for Rilo and the rest of the squad.
Wow, what a turn of events over there. Rilo managing to get both raises off. That's insane right there. Just and you got to give props over there to the updates that Fortnite has brought in, the quality of life stuff, where if you stop raising someone, it doesn't automatically restart the raise. It slowly ticks away. Because of that, able to go ahead and get the initial raise just because you needed to put those walls back up. Well done over there. As for the PRG side, I mean, you know, I say it all the time. PRG, the 3 most dangerous letters in the school leagues. Let's see what you can do as a solo. Let's see if you can get your teammates back. And honestly, going to go to that gas station now, check it out and see if there's any loot. But risky at the same time. Not much in the inventory. No shields to top up if need be. Just that lightsaber, that scoped assault, and a team staring at you doing front flips as you try to go ahead and cross over to the safety of that zone. And Alt, I cannot wait to see all of these teams competed at the 3 biggest letters of the year, AGC.
It's going to be big. You can spell it out as much as you want, but all I'm seeing right now is Cappy in such a bad spot. He's had to go deep into the zone because as soon as he drew that attention, all 3 of them turned and chased him out. I mean, this is going to have to be... I wonder if he's actually going to try wrap all the way around and get those reboot cards, or realizing that he cannot do the solo. This is the squad. I don't know if you caught at the end of that second Open Division game. These guys picked up 21 kills as a squad. Woo! 10 of them from Trixton Tashin on their own. And so they would definitely love to have that back in. The squad that was originally showing the aggression and chasing Cappy out of there, though, has found themselves pinned against the zone and by none other than Juno and the rest of this team who've got such nice angles. They take out KB. That's a big pick. If I'm not mistaken, this is Dragon and AWAC squad, in fact, that they've been able to isolate off and shove them even further into the zone.
I mean, AWAC and Dragon have been going down a little bit earlier and did manage to get back in the game, got a couple of eliminations in that kill feed, but now taking down a man again towards the end game. 20 players left alive in a tiny zone like this. If you've got AWAC and Dragon who clutch this up and get that reboot card, you also have the PRG side that needs to use that same reboot van. And with the area shrinking like this, you're not going to have a lot of opportunities to go ahead and get that up. You can see AWAC and Dragon in the storm as well, right over there by Cappy. And I mean, we'll see if there's an engagement or not. For the most part, PRG is going to try to just stay for the placements, stay for the end game, and try to win this thing as a solo. But then you go over to Joshi and squad, who they're low HP right now from that storm. They're looking to go ahead and stay alive a bit more. You can see popping the medkit has the chug jug as well, and that circle moving far away from them again means that they have to cross out in the open. They have to be known as targets. They have to be seen by all these other squads, these 6 other squads besides them, who want to get into that safe zone as well. Meanwhile, AWAC and Dragon do get taken out over there by Juno, so that is that team down.
Yeah, eventually it's just, again, when you're too focused on chasing someone, you got to worry about who's coming up behind you, and pays dividends here for Juno and the rest of the squad. So they're going to stack up the kills. Talking about kills, though, Joshua Monkey, Sink, and Sunny, again, a team that we've seen show a lot of patience in the match, but often end up with very slow kill counts to their name as a result of it. They want to try and change that right now. They got a team just below them, so they're going to start hammering in damage and take a bit of fall damage on the way down. Sunny lucky to come out of that with any sort of HP. Fortunately, he's spent and twisted by 10 Twist. He does eventually find that last shot there. Got so low HP, got to rely on the rest of the team. And actually turns around and gets that last kill. That is huge for them because of the siphon that results. They don't have to waste any more meds. Can get back into this. They can close into the zone as it shrinks so quickly around them, but they've got a lot of teams to contest with who are sitting here 5 in a tiny little zone who are already neck and neck and toe to toe fighting it out and really trading blows.
Yeah, and Place Palesa only with that gray pistol from the reboot as well. Ooh, the glint countering Gemini over here right now, and you can see he puts up the cone to try to get a little bit of a peeker's advantage, but no one gonna peek that as well. Top 5 situation, like you said, Alton. This is sort of where everyone now tries to gun for it. This is where they have to be off the scale with it. And Sunny off the scale with those shots. We saw that 360 spray just as they were entering into that circle. And now we see the beam over on Gemini as well. Junior with only 14 HP as well means that they are a vital target for every other team. Zany gets taken down by Sink and Sunny and company. They just want to go ahead and dominate through this right now. I believe it's Joshua Monkey as well. You talked about how they like to slow down their kills, and they're trying to change that. It looks like they're changing it right now in this final few zones. Storm number 8 means that they can try to hold out everyone in the storm right now if they get good positioning. And it means that they get those kills up as well. 13 players all gunning for this tiny circle.
Oh, the tiny circle completely gate kept here by Juno and the rest of the squad. Kate has got 8 on his own, 12 up for the squad, and they now have a shooting gallery. They don't even have to worry about the walls behind them. Turn someone out in the open. We've got to put the shots in there. Can even start throwing some more aggression and just hold that zone completely to themselves. Even decides to go for some materials. Again, the efficiency that we see of these youngsters. A couple of little shots there. Going to send Cade to duck down behind his own engagement. What a shot! Oh, that was the bowcaster! Oh my goodness, we really get to see that used for the kills at the end of that, but it shows completely why it's big. Charges it up, 113 damage on the peak, and Juno picks up another kill to their name. They've lost Kate along the way, so their top fragger is down. They're going to keep going. These guys are incredible, and he keeps going with that bowcaster, charging it up as much bullets as he wants. And he's using it with great efficiency.
Oh, that was insane. That's a clip right there for X. That's a clip right there for all socials. That is insane right there. And this is what it means to be gunning for AGC. This is what it means having that LAN happening 10th to 13th July. As we see Juno now aggression throwing all caution to the wind, jumping onto enemy builds, and looks at to the left, charges up the bowcast again, but no connection this time. You can see just trying to waste the builds down below. And has that force pull as well. And I talked about how devastating it actually is. We saw Juno get the knock initially and then kidnap the player as well to prevent it is. There's that AoE damage that I was talking about as well. A bunch of damage on multiple players. Cracking all shields over there. And looking to do it again down low. Oh, 67 as well. Knows how to use the bowcaster so well, and it's a weapon a lot of players don't know about because you can only get it from Chewbacca. That's the only place you can get it from, and there's only one Chewbacca AI on the island. So if you don't know where he is, you don't land there, you don't get it immediately, you're never gonna see this unless it's in the hands of Juno.
But I love this. Juno's not even got one target. He's got everyone on the field in the sidelines, then throws a bit of damage here, throws a bit of damage there, whittles everyone down, realizing there's still 3 other squads available, and he's going to have to take them down, even using it to fire around corners, like you say. Doesn't even need to have line of sight on these bulls, and he keeps dismantling them. Eventually charges out into the open, dives with cover underneath there. Force pull, a little bit off the target there, so it doesn't remove the ones directly below him, but he keeps threatening this tunnel. You see this player going through there. It's the only real drawback towards his Wookiee bowcaster is how long that charge up is, so you can't just use it exactly when you want, but that's where you get Rilo to step up, because he's got the beams going through there. And the 1-2 punch, Juno removes the builds, Rilo removes the HP bars. We're down to the final 3 teams. Juno continuing this assault from above. It's a strafing run. Takes down Divine there between him and Rilo. Again, it's 1, 2, 3. Rilo again. Such quick fire rates on this gun. AR, you gotta take us home.
Man, this is insane. Having that DC 15 in that fast fire rate, not the heavy version that we're used to seeing players go for, is absolutely insane for the end game. Just beaming through. I mean, look at that. That was 46 damage in the matter of less than a second. And now the bowcaster being handed off to Rilo as well, dealing damage on all of these builds. 3 teams, 6 players within this, as Juno gets a knock and a confirm on that as well. And this duo on the high ground looking to go ahead and make their name known in our first premiere. There's the beam. There's the knock. There's the elimination on Gemini. 4 players left. And the duo is on top of the world. Lightsaber still in Juno's hand. You can see he pulls it out right now. Tries to maybe think of a kidnap. And in fact does. Oh! There it is. But, ooh, for a second over there. Missed the crosshair placement. And takes damage instead of dealing it. You can see the force push going out as well. 2 teams left and looking for 4 letters. 1 word. Yeet. Just like that. 18 eliminations on Juno and company.
Oh my goodness. So rarely do we get to see a team with a mentality like that. They take the high ground advantage. They've got themselves a bowcaster just constantly turning back and forth from the target. It was really just an inevitable fight, it seemed. There was even one guy who tried to challenge the high ground. I think it was Jaden. Got up there, but immediately the turnaround, Rilo was able to spot that out, beams him and says, no, this is our spot. You can go back down there, join your team, or in the grave eventually. And it was just such a nice, patient play from them. They were ready to take that to a heel off if they really had to, but they didn't even let it get that long. It was just the combo between the 2 players was so nice to watch. This is why we are here in the Premier Division. You wanted to know what was different? We have not seen that all season out of 5 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. This is why we live for this. ASL, we say it all the time. Mega stars in the making. And if you don't see it right in front of your very own eyes, then you'll see it at AGC Grand West, 10th to 13th July, where all of these guys are going to be playing. 150,000 Rand prize pool split between games means it's going to be absolutely insane out.
Cannot wait for that, guys. We've got one more lobby left for you today here in the Premier Division. We've got also that leaderboard to see who came out. I think I know who is there. With a victory royale and 18 kills behind you, we're going to see Rilo and the team sitting at the top there. Looking forward to that. But how the rest of the standings pan out, we'll find out just after the short break.
Africa, get ready for the biggest esports showdown of 2025. Taking place between the 10th to the 13th of July in Cape Town, Grand West Entertainment World. Get ready for 150,000 Rand in prize pool featuring Fortnite, Rocket League, Call of Duty Mobile, EAFC, Valorant, and today we get to announce for the very first time an international opportunity, taking the winner all the way to the United States to compete for a $200,000 prize pool. Brawlhalla players, now's your time to rise as you get ready to be able to compete for the one opportunity to be the representative from South Africa to qualify for BCX. This is where legends rise. Get ready for AGC 2025. Head over to the URL to register now, acgl.gg/AGC. The crown awaits.
Say our names, we appear. ASL Premier Division, and what a first game over there, Alt. I mean, we got to see that bowcaster in action. We got to see a kidnap into the storm happen. You love to see it. And Alt, we have a leaderboard now. We predicted what was going to happen because I wonder who was going to be at the top. Take us away with it, buddy.
Of course, your favorite team. Nothing but gas. All gas, no breaks. Of course, it's going to be Juno, Cade, and Rilo taking that top spot. And by what a margin as well. Ending up with 18 kills and that first place. And then everyone kind of trickles in afterwards. Glenwood High has been doing a great job throughout the day, both in the Open and the Premier Division. They picked up 4 kills along the way. That was, of course, Divine, Kaizen, and Kyle. They did a great job. And then Tenio Fortnite managing to come through in the 3rd spot. That was Jalen, who was the one who tried to challenge the high ground at the end. Jalen, Gemini, and Junior. I love those guys' names. And then after that, it pretty much is everyone who kind of just made it towards the end zone and picked up a couple of kills along the way. Because the teams that we saw who kind of showed a little bit too much gumption in the beginning, they charged for those kills. And did they get punished consistently?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially towards that end game as well. We saw some teams trying to get those kills that they've lacked in the beginning. And it just resulted in the height advantage and that bowcaster as well just beaming down below. But Alt, an entirely new lobby coming up next for all of our beautiful viewers to go ahead and witness. What do we expect to see here? Because clearly nothing but gas is all gas, no breaks with it. They're looking to go ahead, gun through this next lobby as well. They're looking to go ahead and progress to what we just saw before our cameras came on. AGC, so many things happening over there, from Fortnite to a Brawlhalla international opportunity. That's wild right there, and it's all happening 10th to 13th July. I'm gonna be there. Alt's gonna be there. You all should be there. 10th to 13th July. Clear out your calendars and make your way down to Grand West to be at the biggest event of the year.
Whether you're competing or just want to come and watch, it's going to be an incredible event. It was last year, and the hype in the crowd is amazing to see. So we do hope we get to see you. Turning our eyes back to Fortnite, this is the only day of Fortnite that we have for the week. It's been confirmed, no action here tomorrow. So make the best of it right now with our last lobby of the day. And AR, you asked what we're going to see for this. If you guys have not been sitting, typing, and finding out more about AGC, I'm sure there were a couple of youngsters there who are quickly going to find out where Chewbacca spawns on this island, because they have seen what that bowcaster can do. They're going to try and get it for themselves, but would not be surprised to see Rilo and the rest of the team. They go straight for that drop site, because wow, what an impact that could make. 113 damage when you manage to hit someone with it, eliminated walls in one shot. It was such a potent part of it, but it's not all about one specific gun. There's nothing that's overpowered in this game. It's all about how you use it.
Oh yeah, you sound like Dominic Toretto over there. It's not about the car, it's about who's driving it. Same thing that goes with these weapons for Fortnite. And of course, this beautiful island, Star Wars themed mini season, not going to last too much longer. Disappears on the 7th with an event that will be happening as well. But the battle bus once again over this map 41 players within here, one team looking to head towards that first order base, and everyone else just in the mid to lower sections of the map right now. Let's see exactly what happens for all of these players.
Pretty even split down the center. Only one team going for that highly coveted first order base. Instead, it looks like Darth Vader's Samurai Solitude going to play host to a couple of teams. Seems like one of them is actually a duo going down that way. On the eastern side, though, Seaport City sees the skies above filled with all sorts of tricky antics. A much more visually pleasing one right now. In fact, that's so satisfying to watch. Yeah, Lex is definitely going to have something up their sleeve.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you can see AWAC getting an elimination early on as well. And gliding all the way to the eastern side of the map. This is a very interesting one, considering that there's not much buildings over here. Yeah, beforehand there was all of those Oni towers and such, but that's been long gone right now.
Oh, CBK initially, before all the players have even hit the ground, eliminated by the squad. Dragon, AWAC, and KB7 managing to pick up. It's not even KB7 anymore. KB swoosh.
KB samurai swords.
That's a little bit long to say, but yeah, Outlaw Oasis claims its first victims. We have a slightly bigger lobby. 15 is starting to be far more healthy, but it's the CBK squad who are our initial casualties.
Yeah, Outlaw Oasis, it's been a place that since it was added, absolutely tremendous amounts of loot over here. We've seen teams this season walk out of that POI fully kitted with purple weapons. Purple Jawa Scatterblasters being the go-to weapon for this season right now. I mean, Alt, you got to witness it in the open division earlier today, and the amount of damage it outputs is insane, is it not?
It's huge, actually, right now. We'll have to see again. Like you said, it's not all about the inventory, but it certainly does help when you can get through in a single shot, really, towards build or HP pools. Junior sitting on high, got some teammates just down below that is doing all the scouting right now. Is this two? Correct me if I'm wrong. That's two other squads right here, right?
Yeah.
Or no, it's just. Yeah, because that exclusive, those guys are not part of the same team. And so really just waiting for someone to poke out. And with a decent inventory like this, including that jetpack, you have such a nice ability to control the high grounds and put the tempo on. But you also don't really want to be the first ones to open fire. There we go. Builds on the other side there being spotted out. Still the temperament being held.
Yeah, the tension is so much over here right now. You could cut it with a lightsaber, and you can see Bean peeked, and then immediately with that DMR, that was a headshot for the ages. And you can see Bean immediately pushing through right now, looking to go ahead, confirm that elimination, find anyone else, and get a couple more eliminations. Junior just going to wait it out. We can see Swift waiting it out as well. Meanwhile, Bean now building all the way up to that rooftop. And now with the height advantage on Zayat, there's the knock from Fatal Acid. Still that other team over here just waiting for anything else to happen and hoping and praying it's the Jurassic Park thing. But now looking to go ahead and clear it out is Bean. Look to get that second elimination on the board. And what a strong start for them.
That's great for them. I mean, if you can control Seaport City on your own and chase everyone else away from you, there's great potential for loot. And I mean, they're going to condense it a little bit more. Purple DMR in the hands of Bean. That kind of showcases why that headshot was so impactful at the beginning. What a great weapon to start with and full use. We've seen Bean time and time again take advantage of these long-range weapons. Now they might have actually spotted out. I think they did, in fact. They've seen this team and the building opposite them. There's got to be at least one shot there. As Bean takes a nice off angle, pulls out the DMR, as does exclusive Oak or exclusive OC know that they're here. And certainly one shot is all it'll take. I think they're just a duo there as well. So full advantage here at the Scrappy Jockey, the Fatal Acid, and Bean.
I think Exclusive and company, they made a little bit of noise. They made a footstep, and that got the entire attention of Jockey and squad. You can see Fatal Acid and Bean just turn all of a sudden towards that building, and there's the Beans coming through right now. Famous Garage on 1 HP and a Dream manages to get 25 shield, and now we'll pop that medkit as well. But when you're dealing with a beam like that, that puts panic, that puts anxiety in your plays. What's gonna happen for you next? How do you go ahead and escape from this scenario?
Yeah, I mean that's the first part of this engagement. Now you certainly haven't set the tempo yourself. You've got to still react to everything, and this team is just so comfortable waiting on high ground. They don't have to worry about the zone. Being even getting optimistic and looking around the rest of it. Spots out there, one shot, two shots. Second one to the head confirms the knock. An exclusive. He was the one on the better of the HPs between the two. Confirms the kill at the end of it. Now it's just down to a single player. And even going to go top of the inventory. Decides to neglect those pistols for, of course, the Jawa Scatter Blaster. Can start now putting on the pressure. Famous Garage gets spotted out in the corner. Bean, you have to see that on the bottom right of your screen, surely.
No? Maybe? Yes?
Maybe?
Getting a different angle, perhaps? But it flew right overhead for just a second, or under, I should say. In that kill feed, Junior and Gemini getting taken out by Cappy as well. But what a shot from that DMR. This is why I love that the DMR is in the season. Normally, ladies and gentlemen, we wouldn't be able to see shots like that because snipers are not in this rule set. But the DMR doesn't fall underneath the sniper. It falls underneath a marksman rifle. I absolutely love that we have it in game. 130 to the dome over there. One to the chest, one to the head. Confirms that one kill. They are sitting at 3 right now as well. So very decent KP for the early game. We've only lost 3 teams, and they have 3 kills total already.
Yep. I like the fact that they don't have snipers here in tournament mode because those can be cheesy. Just a single shot takes you out. But, oh, the grenades. Oh, Nexus. Oh, you were just standing there watching the fireworks and got nearly taken out as a result afterwards. Batman instead steps up to try to challenge this Hillcrest High School's team. And Hayden, Ty Boss, Matchmello, they were kind of separated previously. Matchmello going to take a little bit of a chip damage to take down those shields, but it's got enough covering fire to get up and over the hill. Batman instead has to back up around the corner. Good reactions when he realizes he's got the detriment, but Lexi not as fortunate. Try to cut in front of their own builds and confirm from a distance. Kaden going to be able to top that back up, and Batman now creating all the space in the world. Might look to come back for that reboot card, and actually might run into Swift here, taking a swim through the river under Shining Span. And the rest of the team, oh, they have realized Ty Boss, he's closing the distance. I don't know if they're going to chase this too hard. Just trying to at least spot out where their opponents was. Have a nice advantage on the high ground here. Can't see really where Batman's tucked around the corner.
And Swift also just managing to disappear as well for a couple of moments over there. Batman hiding in the shadows like Batman does and hoping to go ahead and survive through this. But we'll see exactly what happens. Bean gets an elimination on Tiger over there. Fatal Acid or gets to confirm. And, Batman just saying, wait a minute. And, big step out here, just trying to go through. And, maybe taking too much time over there is going to have the team that is above you spotting you out. And doesn't matter what Chewbacca shoes you may have, it's not going to stop that fire. And immediately over there connecting on shots. 59 HP left on Batman. And might be degrading emoting just a little bit, but at the same time, cool emote, though. Cool emote.
Worth it, right? If he gets out of this, 100% worth it, but has at least got the coverage of this push. And there's another team just south of him that might draw the attention. He doesn't seem to... Oh, no! They still spot him out. Bush does not, unfortunately, stop any sort of bullets. And down to 25 HP, draining whatever material's got left. So try and break that line of sight. Utilizes the jetpack as well to get up and over, but it's the long range shot. Kaden eventually finds the mark and eliminates one more squad. Now also, as spotted out, I believe, this team just to the right of them, just to the west, sees the builds there and knows something's around, just waiting for the time. Oh, those are just stormtroopers. We're good. We're good.
Those also, I believe, were the builds of the elimination that we just saw. But Batman. I also saw Darth Vader in the distance over there with an exclamation mark. So someone has Vader right now. That's the important thing that you need to know. Vader, of course, an NPC that's more powerful than the rest, than any NPC that we've had before that could be hired. Someone has it on the map right now, which means someone also has that lightsaber. And we see it right there. There's Vader leading the front charge, the front lines of Sync and company. And I mean, this is a buff in its own right. Look at Vader just chopping through all of this and drops materials as well from it, I believe. So is going to go ahead and help out with that. But let's talk about what we've seen before. with Vader challenging players, jumping forth and throwing lightsabers at players. Enough of a distraction to let the players themselves, with DMR, to build up, get a slight height advantage from box, and then get those headshots.
Yeah, I mean, he's so good. We're going to jump in right now. Kapibuka and the rest is PRG's side. It's so good to return, of course, back to teams that consistently do well. And Divine, this is our team that was second place previously out of Glenwood High School in KZN. They are taking a bit of damage, a bit of harassment from PRG on the other side. PRG would love to make up. They only ended up in 6th after the previous round. So hunting for kills and dogging their opponents the whole way as they consistently try and retreat. No time to try to top up these HP pools. Unfortunately, you cannot afford to take any stray shots. So consistently having to turn around and get those walls up between them to try to break it. But that, again, consistently puts out exactly where you are. Gappy on the high ground has all the space in the world, just misses Divine as he double jumps with that lightsaber. Now with a little bit more clear line, but still no engagement there. Kapibuka, though, still continues the pressure, just charging forward, and they've actually closed the distance really well. This is the benefit of having those lightsabers. Divine, the first one to go down. First casualty, Kaizen and Carl might have to turn and fight. They were playing as a duo in the open division, but right now, can they make it work for themselves? They found purchase previously. That's a great way to quickly top up your shields, dropping the cone onto those splash barrels. Takes a very nice angle, goes over the top, beams down Kaizen. No, as he was distracted, this is what we talk about. These off angles are so good. Now can just pressure down the walls, get around. He's got a teammate who come in close behind him. Kapibuka trades out the high ground position. Goes over the top. Cappy wrapping all the way around down to the backside, making sure that there's no way for them to retreat. Gets a shot and actually takes one in return. Carl levels it out. It's Trixtashian, and Kapibuka now versus this duo of Kyle and Gazen.
Ooh, what a shotgun shot over there as well. The wall just blocking the shot for Cappy. And now Kyle looking to go ahead and get that 57 with the shotgun from Kapibuka. And pops those battles as well, prevents enemies from using it. And now going to try to get a little bit of progress onto that race. Tentacion, Trix, low HP right now. The force pull comes through, but enough builds to go ahead and block that. You can see the lightsaber just to swing through the builds and immediately destroy it. Gets you out of dodge very, very quickly. Kapibuka now, last one left alive, trying to pop a chug jug, but has to instead just go ahead and run away. Maybe try to get this revive, but no, not when enemies are that close. And so much damage getting pushed out right now on Kapibuka, but still somehow alive. Edits through that floor and that ramp to get that big pot to keep the min-maxing on that chug jug as well. But that is Juno and squad that is putting so much pressure. Spots out the corner, takes out Kyle, and looking to clean up the last that is alive over here. That is Kapibuka. Will they go ahead? Or did they actually eliminate Kapibuka? I can't really even tell on that minimap.
I don't think that they did. I think
no,
they're
they
still
didn't.
there. Yeah, he's still there. But I mean, this is amazing. These two teams were engaged, the PRG and GHS sides, but they took so long playing around each other. The third-party opportunity arose, and the worst people arrived for them. Godzilla has come smashing down over these bulls, squashing everyone underneath them. Now all three there. They can't find Cappy. He's hiding under the floorboards. There. This is going to be an incredible play. They take down all of them, and he's still quiet, looking at the ground. I'm not sure. Just ignore me. Eventually, they're actually going to leave.
No way.
They cannot actually evacuate this area. There's no way you let him get away with this.
No shot. There is no shot. Ladies and gentlemen, your hide-and-seek 2025 champion, Kapibuka, hiding underneath the floor, having opponents, probably the most devastating squad, literally walk on top of you and leave. Alt, what did we just witness?
That was incredible. Again,
Oh
game
my
sense,
God.
awareness of how to get out of a tricky situation. You let your opponents take away everything else around you. And it's most players, let's be fair, would be trying to build themselves into a box or try and play footsie games or fight it out. He just calms down, ice in his veins right there to be able to hold still. And that means he also gets the ability to get the reboot cards. He could get the entire PRG spec just from that single play. Right now, we get to see Juno. They turned their attention away from PRG and they found themselves new targets. They get some good damage on one. Joshy Monkey immediately reduced down to a sliver of HP. Sunny not faring too much better. It's up to their third. Stink gonna have work to do from the high ground. He engages there, but he's been taken down. Rilo comes off the better there. And this trio is still in full spirits, full HP. They pop themselves the instant, and they brought Darth Vader along with them. Joshy Monkey drops it down there to try and create some space and takes towards the hill. Still a couple of chips here or there, but Darth Vader eventually paid with his life for Joshy Monkeys. They'll let him go for now.
Did he, or did he run off into the distance as well? I looked like a teleport, but could have been a death over there as well. I'm not too sure on that one. But getting those kills and cleaning up just a little bit over there, that is insane. That they can switch between targets that quickly. That's Juno and Squad, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't seen them in action before, you've seen them now. And Capibuca still alive. I do believe with those reboot cards is going to go into the storm and look to get that reboot as well, and manages to do so, and now heads back towards the safe zone with Trix, with Cappy, back in the game one more time.
Back in the game, but certainly not in a great position. Inventory stripped bare. So they've got work to do if they have any shot in the rest of this competition. But at least they're here together, which is big. Still, the chase continues. Sink and the rest of the St. David squad have to try and take away. They did teleport Darth Vader out with them, and Cade just ignores it for a second. He's gonna use it once more to buy time. I think that teleports him back. What a wonderful ability to buy yourself space constantly. But space is not going to be on your side when your opponents have got the launch pad and can now charge through the air to where you're waiting. In fact, they just back out. They're heading towards the zone. They've got such a nice high ground position there on top of the mountains. They're already inside, set sights on the victory royale.
And you look at that HPs as well on the left. Cappy and Trix both low right there. Capibuca, the only one fairly healthy on the other side of this team. And, you know, it has some bandages to go ahead and top up, but it's a 2-tick. Oh, just manages to get that bandage off in time. Luckily, the zone is moving over here, so you will have some safety, but not safe enough against those blasters from the heavens, and immediately builds up all those materials that you just spent farming, now having to be used to keep yourselves alive for a little bit longer. 8 teams still within this, 20 players left alive. We're only on storm number 6, and we're looking to go ahead and get more action as we get into sights with Bean. Still has that purple DMR in hand.
Of course he does. That's not something you relegate out to the trash heaps or the trash compactor at any stage if you get that nice and early. Instead, we go across to a more patient team. I like this. Again, some of these guys just relying on the placement points to keep themselves through the system. And they don't have a great inventory as a result of it. Of course, the more engagements you take, the more opportunities you have to claim your opponent's great loot. Instead, these guys, I wouldn't want to stick my head out right now as Bean does pick up 1 kill, takes out Joshy Monkey. Now they're trying to track Evan through the air, kills him before he hits the ground. Click Slayer down for the counts, and Capibuca actually going to be the one to claim Evan. That was Evan floating through the air, and it was nice tracking, but the scoreboards continue to line up by this squad on the high ground. 8 kills to their better. I mean, after round number 1, they're going to be ecstatic with their progress. Just 6 more oppositions, and they're the first ones to the new zone.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about it, how they were going to go all gas, no breaks through this next match as well. Because it doesn't matter if you have that target on your back. If you're this good and you go and beam through all of that, that's insane. We can't have another hide and seek over here, right? Marshmallow did not see Dragon over there. I do believe Dragon's head was peeking through the ramp, but did not spot out. There's no way we have 2 hide and seek champions in ASL, and actually popping out is Dragon. The advantage though, the beams on Matchmillow not clearing corners is gonna go ahead and cost their life. It's all down to Tyboss now. The last life, Dragon takes a bunch of damage from Tyboss though. Tyboss a little bit healthier than what Dragon actually is, and Dragon eventually goes down to the storm. But wow, playing that patience game. You talk about patience, Alt, that's patience. That's trigger discipline right there. And it's going to be rewarded with 2 kills, more KP for the team just from that patience.
Yeah, and he's got the team to still back up and try to close this out. Sync gets disconnected, desynced, if you will, out there in the storm and claimed quickly by AWAC. So add another one to the tally. And that takes out our 4th place team from the previous round. PRG once more coming back in. They're looking a little bit healthier. As I say that, Trix gets overconfident and tries to pop the med kit in the open. But he was worried about the zone. Only just manages to get there with 1 tick to spare. Unfortunately, that med kit is now gone and out. So all he has to work with are these minis. Gonna try to get himself in and join his teammates at least. So take his refuge under the stair. Hit best Harry Potter cosplay 2025. Gets those minis off, but still the pressure coming in. Rilo, he's got such a stacked inventory for close range encounters. He's going to have to rely on his teammates to do the distance damage.
I mean, now you have to go ahead and look for that siphon as well, but we're down to our 3 teams. In a flash, just like that, Alt, we're down to 3. Cade getting some big damage taken and has the minis and splashes to top back up, but that's Bean up there that you're challenging with that DMR. Do you really want to be challenging that? Bean has the confidence with it. We've seen the shots get hit with it. Do you want to peek into that? I don't think so, especially when you are top 3, when you're this close to that victory royale. Storm number 8 means you don't want to get caught out either there, Alt.
Yeah. And the big thing is, all of these teams are still full-strength trios. Even if you're taking a duel right now, if you get knocked, there is a good chance your team won't have the numbers advantage going into that final showdown. So we see some big space being taken. Juno has got himself a great porta-fort up on very high ground, confidently in the zone, and now has all the angles that he wants. Instead of being, he's forced into a close-range fight. Juno continues to go upwards to the skies. We saw them doing this previously. Bean trying to poke around the corner. Great crosshair placement, but was not gifted with the damage as a result. And now needs to worry about this team right next to him.
Ooh, and the beams coming from up high as well. All those builds getting taken down. And this is the point in time where you need to have those materials up. Just because there's so much gunfire happening around you, you're going to burn through builds no matter what. And on the side of Cappy, 84 builds, will it be enough for this, especially with everyone on the height? Bean gets a massive elimination on Rilo, and you can see the struggle, the rush to get that res off is right there in front of them. Bean actually goes ahead and stops it for just a second, but I think it went through at the end for just a split moment. Now Bean on ultimate height, beaming down on everyone and drops down right above Juno and squad. This is our top 3 scenario. This is what these players are going to be playing like at AGC. Trix gets taken down by Bean with that absolute beams, but ooh, the counter over there just from Juno and squad.
Oh, that's big. It was Bean who turned towards the end, and he realized it was a team close to him, but put pressure down on the guys on low, paid with it for his life, and the res even went off. Trix back into the game. We got 2 squads left, both of them still full trios. Juno tries to take the high ground. He's got the angles here, chewing through these tunnels. Cappy tries to make an alternative route, but can't get out. It's just the infinite ammo here of the Star Wars season that's coming out with more prevalence as Juno continues, tries to get a little bit further. Cade decides to get down towards their level and put on the pressure. They've separated off Trix. Does Cade know this right now? He jumps down there, avoids a shot from the return fire, goes back around the corner looking for anything. Rilo still on low HP. He's just trying to stay out of their line of sight. Trix does eventually fall down to Cade, and it's a 2v3. Cappy on solo HP. Juno just dancing past them, and it's Cade with the triple to finish it off.
Oh, the hat trick over there. 15 eliminations to end off that game as well. Well done. What an insane game that we had for our final one of the evening, Alt. Both of these premier games, absolutely insane. Everyone feeling it right now for AGC. The announcement goes live, and then we get the plays like this. Absolutely incredible, Alt.
Love to see it, and you know that these guys are going to be at the land. They have worked way too hard throughout this whole season and have consistently been progressing. It would be heartbreaking to not see any of them. I don't know about you, AR, but these are names that I've now known enough times to be like, I want to go and meet them. I want to go shake the hands of people like Juno, like Cade, like Rilo, like Cappy Buka. these are guys that I cannot wait to see them make a name for themselves because their play is on par. I mean, you've been casting Mythic over the weekends. These guys are starting to really run toe-to-toe with pros.
Oh, absolutely. There's been instances in Mythic where Juno and company, whoever it may be in Mythic, it might not be the same members here, they've challenged the likes of Reapsy. And they've beaten the likes of Reapsy in their 1v1s. And it's gone back and forth. There's like this little mini rivalry happening. They've set their foot in stone. They've made their names known right now. And you talk about meeting these guys at AGC. We talk all the time about how AGC is a place for these kids to meet the pros that inspired them. Guess what? It's a constant cycle. Now there's individuals that are getting inspired by the likes of Juno and Squad, by the likes of GHS, and they're looking to go ahead and meet them. That's what the cycle is, and it's a beautiful thing. But here's the leaderboard in front of us right now. Nothing but gas, just shy of a 200 on that leaderboard. 198 with a total of 34 kills for those 2 games. It's absolutely insane, Alt. PRG claiming that second with 111. That is, of course, Cappy Buka and Squad. 12 kills on there as well. And GHS just shy of 100 points. That is going to be Kyle Kaizen and Divine in 3rd place. But well done to all of these teams for today. It's been absolutely insane watching these guys play in this premiere.
Been so good. Nothing but gas. If I'm not mistaken, they ended up top of the leaderboard last time, but I don't think they doubled up in terms of victories. I mean, that no wonder no one can get close. 34 kills, averaging 17 per game is an incredible accomplishment for them, and it's an intimidating prospect when these guys start preparing for their matches next week, because that's unfortunately, guys, all we have for you for this whole week. Just Wednesday, but at least we made it count. We have moments to remember for a long time, whether it's a jumping bowcaster shot or a 3 kills at the end to clinch it out with a hat trick. Nothing but gas, stand head and shoulders, but great plays all around. And we look forward again to next week when we get to do this all over again. This has just been week number 5 out of a total of 8 weeks in the build up to that land. So make sure you tune back here, same time, same place, next week, Wednesday. AR, myself, Naori Mizuki, we're all going to be here to keep you company because I tell you what, we wouldn't miss this for the world. I hope you wouldn't as well. But that's it for tonight. We'll see you next time.
Africa, get ready for the biggest esports showdown of 2025. Taking place between the 10th to the 13th of July in Cape Town, Grand West Entertainment World. Get ready for 150,000 Rand in prize pool featuring Fortnite, Rocket League, Call of Duty Mobile, EAFC, Valorant. And today we get to announce for the very first time an international opportunity, taking the winner all the way to the United States to compete for a $200,000 prize pool. Brawlhalla players, now's your time to rise as you get ready to be able to compete for the one opportunity to be the representative from South Africa to qualify for BCX. This is where legends rise. Get ready for AGC 2025. Head over to the URL to register now. acgl.gg/AGC. The crown awaits.